noticed that.
All right, we've got a little after 4, so we'll call the meeting to order. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Micah is not with us tonight, so we will officially excuse him in the board meeting. First, welcome Lance to our first collective meeting here that's not remote. So
That first one went really well.
yes,
I'm just throwing it out.
we can stick to that. Awesome. Thank you to the staff and cabinet that's here tonight too as well. So we will get started. So this is our study session to go over performance indicators and targets. And so I will turn it over to Lance.
All right, thank you. So what I'm going to do, again, I've talked to each of you individually and talked about board learning. So this particular session, I'm hoping that that's what we're going to do. So it might be a little bit different than what you're accustomed to in the past, which is totally fine. And I'm going to give you an elbow partner here in a second. So I've got the cabinet lined up. They've been assigned to each of you. So as we go through this piece, you're going to have someone to bounce ideas off of, and then they're going to capture potentially that. And at the end, you'll do a little bit of a report out. Prior to us getting into that, I want to talk to you a little bit about the last few days that we've shared with the leaders in the school district, because I think it's very important that our board knows how our leaders, or the messages that our leaders are getting, because that's where the rubber meets the road, and that's those who are guiding the buildings, guiding the learning in our buildings. So with that, I'm going to walk you through that first. I know you have a little bit different arrangement here. Sorry, I don't know who that is, probably my insurance. But I wanted to make sure you were able to see the screen, so that's why we're in a little bit different. I apologize, Mike. I should have given you a heads up on that.
It's all good.
Okay. All right. So here's what our topic was, and if you'll see around the building, I wanted to impress upon our leaders that their responsibility was to lead learning in their buildings, period. And I said, this is what we're going to do. The first 3 is what we did on the days, and the last 2 is what we're going to do all year long. So we're going to learn together, laugh together, lean in together, lead together, and I'm sure at some point during the year, we'll probably take our lumps together. But the key piece on all that is we're together. As we start building our ideas of teams and collectively how we service all 19,000 children, not just the children in our building, and that was an important piece that we wanted them to know, because we want to make sure that we're servicing all of our kids, that makes sure that we're fulfilling the promise that we're making to our community, and it's all of our kids. So together was something that I wanted to make sure that they saw. This was us, and I thought this was an amazing picture only because I asked them quite a few questions about leadership, but the one thing that you'll see captured there that I want them to understand is, how do others see them as leaders? Because sometimes we see ourselves as leaders in one lens, and we see it, and sometimes that's not always the case how others see us. So the other thing that I wanted to mention is the book study that the cabinet and I are going to do. Book study as in, I haven't told them what chapter to read or anything like that, but I know that as I meet with the cabinet individually, we have topics. And this basically, this text talks about the change in leadership style from command and control in basically the manufacturing era to trust and inspire. And I really believe in order to get great things to happen, you have to have those who are doing the work understand how they fit into the larger scheme. And so when we talk about trust, for example, the formula for trust is pretty straightforward. Actions plus your words and actions match. Not only that, they match consistently over time. And if you think about those with whom you would trust, hopefully that resonates with you. So we talked about that and what that means for us. So the first thing that I did, and I reminded them that I believe that my responsibility as a superintendent of the Kennewick School District is to connect kinder to community. And what I mean by that is everyone plays a role in the journey of our children as they progress through our system. And the board is tucked underneath community. So you go kinder, and actually it's pre-K. I have to apologize to pre-K, obviously. But as they enter and we start to assist them in their learning journey, we are all connected. And we are connected also with the support side of things. So the first little task that we did is that they had to take out their phone, which they all had phones, so we were good there. They had to find someone in this building for whom they did not know. Because a lot of times it gets pretty, in larger organizations, you can get like, well, we got all this stuff happening behind the scenes. Like I had a meeting with everyone in this building and IT just kept coming. I didn't know where they were coming from. I just kept coming, but at least they showed up at the meeting. So they had to find someone in this building and they had to take out their phone. And by the way, I prepped our building to let them know so they weren't surprised. But they had to take their phone out and they had to hand it to someone else. And they had to record a message with the following thing. Why should I send my child to your school? And I wanted our leaders to make sure that they because that's not necessarily a hard question, but I wanted to know, like right now, like if they were a district person, why should I send someone to the Kennewick School District? There are choices out there. I want to make sure that we are the choice. And our leaders have to have that on the back of their mind as they're doing this. So, but there's some ulterior motives to this particular exercise. And then they had to take off. So when they came back, I asked them the following questions. I said, what can you tell me about the person you asked to help you? Because sometimes when we're given tasks, we take it internally to ourselves and we think it's about us. Sometimes leadership's that way as too. Like in other words, if I'm only focusing on me and the things that I have to accomplish, I can very easily miss those who are the most important to me, and those are my teammates. So that kind of took them back. So they had to do the following afterwards. And there's some other things I'll get into the video. But I gave them 2 assignments. One is they had to go back and email that person for whom that they visited with to thank them for helping them in a task that they were supposed to accomplish. And some were like, I forgot. And then they emailed the wrong, like Nikki. So Nikki from somewhere else is getting the email. But it was a great exercise for them to understand that first kind of component of leadership is you gotta have people around you that you know, trust, and you gotta know that everyone plays a role in the success of our children. That includes Natalie, because she's the first face that when we walk in the door with that friendly smile, someone who picks up the phone. Our secretaries, we brought them in, Tom, Monday, that was my message to them. That friendly voice that picks up the phone when your child's sick, they play as an equally important role in the disposition of that parent and their attitude towards our school. And we have some indicators actually that are connected to that, but that's an exercise we're getting to in a second. So I asked them, what is leadership? And then I asked them, what are the qualities of leadership that they have? And then we had this little, don't tell me I won't do it. Oh, of course I converted it. Oh, I have a word cloud. Anyway, so we did a word cloud, and when it pulled up, it talked about all the ideas of leadership. Now I'm going to take that particular document because we had 155 responses. Some people respond more than once. And then there was the biggest part of that was like communication, trust. So I'll send that back to the leaders to remind them that we all, in essence, just created our collective commitments. And collective commitments are those things that we agree to, that this is how we're going to behave in order to accomplish the things that we want to get going. Okay. And then I love this quote by Covey that simply says, leadership is communicating to people their work and potential so clearly that they can see it in themselves. And the point that I have here is that goes back to the first activity, is when you're bringing someone along, your job is to provide clarity for them and believe in them so that they know their roles and responsibilities on what that looks like and feels like. Okay. So here's the book for you, Mike. I thought I'd throw that up there for you. And I started with this particular this question, and I threw this book in here because every year is a renewal in education. It's one of the few professions that kind of gets a start and a stop. Like, Dr. Miller, Josh came today. It's not like you like, well, this is the end of the medical year. We're going to start over. You have fiscal years, for example, that we have that gives you renewal. But education has a sense of refreshment and renewal. And with that refreshment and renewal sometimes comes like, hey, wait a second, we got a new superintendent. What's he all about? We have a new K-12. We have a new, this is funny, by the way, Melissa has told everybody she's the new mascot, which sounds like mascot. So, so we now have a new mascot for the Kennewick School District. It's Melissa. But the idea is and I remind teachers this, and I remind principal this, everything is different every year. Your parents are different, your children are different, and hopefully you are as well. So with that, I asked them the following question: what is our fundamental purpose? And again, it's a word cloud that you're not going to see, but the fundamental purpose that they all saw, students was the largest piece. So that, not necessarily shift, but the reminder that we have schools so that children can learn. We do not have schools for people to be employed. And that's it's not a knock on our employees, that doesn't mean it, but the fundamental purpose of schooling is so that children can learn. Okay? So, of course, the word cloud's not working. So here we go. I have a little note catcher for you all. No cheating. And now you get your thinking partner. So if you guys pass it around.
I know.
Study means study. Learning's learning, right?
Bubbly water. Very snotty.
All right. So you have a study partner. Yeah. Yep. They've been assigned.
Sorry.
You.
Okay. So the study partner could be a phone a friend if you choose. I'm just asking you not to look it up. So the first thing, and this isn't a got you, by the way. So the first thing I'd like you to do in the first box is to write the mission of the Kennewick School District.
You're killing me.
It's a.
I'm going to paraphrase.
No, that's okay. You can paraphrase it, put it in your own words. This is like church. I can even say, what do you think? And you're good. You're good. This is safe. We're safe. We are being recorded, but that's okay.
Are we supposed to phone a friend?
If you get stuck,
Okay.
you can have some lifelines. But try. There we go. Even I recited it during my interview, and I wasn't even employed at the time.
Yes.
So I remember Josh asked me a question because he was right there.
I did ask you a question.
More than one, but that was true.
Well, that's what I said. That vision.
You're good. You're good.
Something.
Values. There's something else.
Oh, just right.
Okay, so if you get to a spot where you're stuck, you can go ahead and phone a friend to fill in some words. That's okay. And we're just on mission, not vision yet, just mission. Mike skipped ahead.
Well, that's
Done. Just kidding.
That's actually pen down. Time's up.
that's pretty much it. Yeah.
So study.
It's in study.
I say word.
Is that very
If I
true? You
write
did say
enough.
study.
I was going to reach over and cheat, but they won't let me. It shows you
Guys,
No chat
Do not
GPT.
start with a.
it's showing you what type of
okay,
board member I am.
so I did this purposely because I need to take words from the wall and put them into action. So our mission is not words on a wall. Our mission is a commitment to our community. And I did the same exercise with our leaders. And I'm going to do some breakdown of this in a second. And when you get to this, and then we'll get into our indicators. If we start with the indicators, the conversation gets lost. We have to have an anchor. Okay. So here is our mission. How many? Okay. If you're close, we're good.
I used the word highest potential.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay.
You got all the words in
I
there.
got
You- okay.
probably all those words are in there.
And some other ones.
Yeah.
So now
What's this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
what I'd like you to do with the mission is I want to break it into two fundamental parts, and I want you to underline the two fundamental parts. And just so you know, this is a compound sentence. So that's your key. What are the two basic, not augmented, but fundamental parts of our mission? So please look at that.
Right here.
Yeah. You can look at them. So there are two. I'm giving you more than I gave the principals, by the way. There are two fundamental parts to the mission.
Yeah.
You can underline them. No, that's the vision. We're not there yet. It's all right.
Before the and after.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, look at that Comacan education.
I know.
That's
My wife would be.
Yeah.
Fourth grade teacher. She's probably like watching right now, making fun of me.
Just so you know, when I asked, I gave the hint and I asked like our principals, everyone was like, not because they didn't know it, but they didn't want to volunteer. It was one of the most classic moments. That was a laughter moment, by the way, that we had. So I said, it's a compound sentence. What's that? And it was like,
And that's,
It's a challenge.
those two kind of
To provide a safe environment.
but you have to have like the safe.
So then the students, so you're just looking for what the district is doing as an action?
Yeah.
Or,
what you see in our mission.
Yes.
Well, so for me.
So what are the two fundamental parts, components of the mission? There's some augmented pieces to it, because there's an adverbial clause and some other pieces like that that augment it.
What I would look
What are the two fundamental pieces?
We're sending them
One of them starts with an infinitive, just
Could.
to the lab. Go do what they're supposed to do.
Write this down.
you can underline it. Okay, so now I'll look for volunteers on this one. So based on what you see, who kind of has a sense of what is the two components that are salient, fundamental? If you strip it all back, take all the modifiers out, what are the two components of the district? And when I say this, remember that the mission of the district answers the following question: why do we exist? So why does the Kennewick School District exist? And if we get to the point where like we don't agree, that's a different conversation. But I'm telling you what it is now. Anybody want to volunteer?
I'll jump in.
Yeah, Mike.
Several else is going to flop around.
Okay.
So again, I think it's, obviously reach their highest potential and graduate well prepared for success.
Okay. Close. Okay, that's all right. Yeah, that's okay.
I was guided by my excellent thought partner.
She's amazing. I know. Yeah.
I'll call it
Guide.
And leader. One is to create a safe environment, and the other is to allow a student to reach their highest potential and graduate well.
Okay, so that's like three things. I'm looking for two, but you're doing well.
One was safe environment.
Safe environment,
Two is the whole second part of the sentence.
which is what comes after and. There's one word.
Graduate well prepared for success.
Okay, yeah, the rest of that stuff I'm going to peel back. I just want the two. So if you really peel everything back, our fundamental purpose is to have a safe place where kids can graduate, period. Now wait, we're not done yet. We're not done yet.
Okay.
So and what I'm saying is, because the rest of it talks about how we're going to get prepared, and we're going to get into that. But
can we just say graduate well prepared? You're going to get
we will, yes, we're getting there, but thank you. So here's the reason that I think it's important is because if we get into this conversation past the fundamental components, like, listen, we're going to have a safe environment, it says, period. We're going to provide a safe environment. And you can say in which they do, whatever. But it says we will provide a safe environment, period. And they will do what? What's the second action? Graduate. Now, okay, so we're going to get into the rest of it. This point right here is now you're going to go into your indicators, and you're going to locate those two items. Which of the indicators point towards correct? See what I'm getting at?
Mhm.
We have other parts of this brief. Okay, thank you.
Tom's already requested a partner. We're not even your second question.
My partner's just shaking her head.
Yes,
She'll never do this. I keep seeing her do this.
This is really, are you smarter than fifth grader? We're really, okay.
Okay, so the task, if you see below mission, you'll see a box. And what you're going to do is you're just going to go and find the indicators that are attached to safety and graduation. So what indicators tell us that we are accomplishing the mission of graduating students and creating safe environments? Down below. You see right below where it says examples, indicators of the mission.
And that they're graduating well.
I mean, I think it's about safety.
These are
about
families. Percent of families.
And if they don't have meaning, like kind of, it's ham radio to me. You have the coarse tuning and you have the fine tuning. So if we're still on the course, that's okay, because we got to get in within a band. We want it to get it where we're dialed in collectively on that piece. So go ahead and like, if there's any other like summary, one of the things I like to do with the cabinet when we meet, you summarize, reflect, or celebrate our little group here. And then if we want to capture any notes, I know Alyssa's been taking some notes, and people have been taking notes here.
No one can read them.
That's okay. You can. That's what's important. And then I know we have a dinner, so go ahead.
Any,
What?
are you start with me or is it?
No,
are we
no,
all-
this,
oh,
I'm turning it back.
no,
over.
okay, all right, all right. I was like, I
Sorry.
don't want to be first.
You can, well,
No,
you can
no,
pick
I
up.
mean,
You're
I
the
just-
board president.
I just, honestly, I mean, I just appreciate this collective effort we just did here. I mean, I know I learned just putting it together, you know, with the mission and breaking it down like that. I mean, this helped me already. So I appreciate that. Any other lessons or comments, or Josh is like, I'm done.
Already said too much. I appreciate it though. No, I think you got to start with what you're shooting at and what you're trying to achieve. You don't have, I mean, I think this is critical. Yeah, we get plenty of data. Like you said, we're data rich. But if we don't do anything with the data and we're not, we like getting on the scale every day and looking at a number, but if you're not doing anything one way or another about it, you're just looking at a number and it's just the number goes up, the number goes down, who cares?
I just switched it to kilos and I feel better.
Yeah.
Just run up.
Well, and there you go. You manipulate the statistics and all of a sudden you go, hey, 60% of our kids graduate. Well, 40% of our kids didn't graduate. Well, one sounds not so bad, one sounds terrible. Like, you know, yeah, you
We're
can
getting-
manipulate statistics, but I think what I like is you're driving it. What are we trying to actually achieve? And are we using the data that we're collecting in a way that's actually going to drive change and drive behavior, which I think is the critical.
Which creates feedback for adults. And that's the key. Like,
And I can appreciate, I feel like historically a lot of our discussions when it's come to performance indicators has centered around progress from year to year. And particularly like we've kind of already talked about it, you know, how did one kindergarten class do compared to the next? But what I'm hearing from you, or at least what I'm hoping I'm hearing from you, I would love to see us start focusing more on the cohort and how is that same group of students doing the next year? So, I mean, I care how one kindergarten class is doing compared to the next, but I really care, how did those kindergartners do as first graders? Are we improving? Are a greater percentage of them reading now than were last year?
that's a whole nother study session, but yes, there, you look at in two directions. You need to know how your kindergartens do because you may make an adjustment in kindergarten instruction,
Sure.
for example. However, the rest of it is how are our tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 systems working, because you are looking for growth year after year, not in kindergarten. Yes, in kindergarten. Kindergarten's an anomaly because we'll get kindergartners that'll come that are like, if we test them if we get an assessment in the fall, like 37% might be ready to go.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Where are they at the end? Those are the only ones that I give kindergarten teachers grace on. Okay. But first, we already have the data. So yes, you're going to see longitudinal pieces. And that's why I would say, I recommend that we kind of hold firm, because this gives us our third year, and your third year is like your system, anything that you do systemically, big picture kind of takes 3 years before you see large or significant, statistically significant changes. Yes, thank you.
Can I add one more thing? I'm sorry, I keep talking, but this is just, yeah, Mike's over here like, man, just shut your mouth.
He can't help himself. It's all good.
The
Go, go,
last
go,
thing
please.
is if graduation is our goal, and especially graduation, we're well prepared for all those things. All these indicators are looking at pre-graduation. None of it looks post-graduation, which would be our best indicator of how well we did, because we can actually see how well we did. So I would encourage, and I brought this up in past, but we need to find ways of getting that data of how they're doing post-graduation. We have to find that data. That's where we're data poor, and that's actually where we're going to find our best results. That's where we actually can see how well we did. I mean, great, so a guy we have 100% on our SBAR scores. But if we find out that 95% of our kids go to college and fail out the first year, well, we're not, our predictors aren't actually predicting anything. So what I'd encourage is if we could find some way, and I know it's challenging, if we can find ways to get those results of how our kids are doing 1 year, 3 years, 5 years after graduation, I think that will give us really important data in understanding how well we are actually meeting the mission.
I would agree. I think we've talked about this a little bit. There's like universities do that. They look at like 1 year out, 2 years out, 3 years out. And there are companies that do some of that tracking. That answers the well prepared. I would just define well prepared as they entered without a barrier. Like our system did not create the barrier for them. Whether it was their knowledge, skill, or disposition. Disposition is tricky, but knowledge and skills. No one should leave our system with a barrier that they go into anything that they choose. Because that's really what we're saying. Because you're right, we're not direct on any one of those three. So that's the way I view that. Our system will not create a barrier for our children. And that's a system, that's what we control.
No, that's just a very interesting way of thinking that. I never put it in that term. So it's
Oof, I might get another 30 days. Thanks, Mike.
it's all good.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything else, or we'll wrap up here before our regular scheduled board meeting. So, all right,
Perfect.
we'll adjourn the study session. Thank you.
Thanks, Josh.